I'll talk about the TV deals and with the NCAA, and we'll talk about that shortly, right before the end of the show. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about David Sills Jr. Stay tuned. Alright, we're back on the Cameron Sadeghi Show. 13-year-old quarterback, David Sills Jr. talked about, even ESPNLA.com did a story about this guy. This guy's 5'11" quarterback, class of 2015. Lane Kiffin received a verbal commitment from this guy February 10th, 2010. So now he is 15. So 6 feet tall. This guy is. Now he is. But Kiffin's like, the kid is incredible and all these different things, and all these different... Do you know Lane Kiffin, by the way? This is amazing about Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin was actually in trouble by the way he recruited at Tennessee. So he has a track record for doing things that are not that great recruiting-wise. So I'm not surprised that he tried to recruit a 13-year-old. A 13-year-old quarterback. How many? I've heard soccer players like 6 or 7-year-old soccer players trying to get recruited. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard. And by the way, this kid, I'm looking at a picture. They got like these coaches looking at him, watching him throw, and I saw on another website where he said that he has to meet up to expectations and he has to do all these different things. You don't have to meet up to expectations. You don't have to do anything. And then this kid is being told that... Here, this is what Sills had to say. I was very surprised at how big this got. My dad told me it was going to be big, but I didn't think it was going to be this big. He said USC has always been my dream school. If it was any other college, I probably would have not said yes. But all it is really is a verbal commitment, so I can get out of it if I wanted to. Okay. This is what he said. I really don't care what people say about me. When people say something negative about me, I just take it and work harder because it makes me want to push harder and train harder and work harder and prove them wrong. I just take whatever they say negative and turn it into a positive. Look, that's a really politically correct answer, and it's a good one, but how do we know that when he gets to that age? Who knows what happens if he doesn't even want to play football? And I know he may not be forced in to play football and all these different things, but reality is one injury ruins your whole career. One little mistake. One is the magic number for anything that can make a change or anything that can alter. So, to me, it's a grown-up answer. It's a good one, but really, USC, you have to take that gamble. You have to go that far recruiting-wise and do it the incorrect, dirty way of doing it. Not particularly great. It's actually, to me, we talked about UCLA trying to recruit Jordan McCabe, and now we're talking about David. These colleges think, and then these colleges, it's so funny, because even with the Stanley McClover issue that we were talking about earlier, the colleges said that, the university said that they did not, do the money handshake or any of these things, but Still, I mean, and then these universities say they don't do it, but they actually did. Sills, look, Kiffin said he's excited to get this guy. McCabe talked about it on TV. So why do institutions have to go so far, and they're so desperate that they have to go get guys who are so-called phenoms and prodigies? Why? Well, why can't the system be normal? Why does everyone have to break the rules? This is the reason why people don't like college football. This is the reason why people don't like college sports in general. Just solely on the system. The way the committee carries themselves and handles themselves, and the way that they've personified themselves. That you ask a normal casual sports fan, and they say they don't like college sports. I mean, the diehards, they're gonna love it. The diehards are always gonna be there, but casual fan is always on the fence when it comes to college sports, because they don't want to. They know that there are 13-year-olds being recruited. They know that 12-year-olds are being recruited. For what reason? Because they want to gain a competitive advantage, and they think they're getting the next LeBron James or the next Tom Brady. But who knows? Maybe they get the next Ryan Leaf. So these institutions, just wait. We'll see. Don't cheat the system, and we'll wait when it comes near high school time. You don't need to recruit 6-year-olds. 20 years from now, I bet Nick Saban's going to be recruiting a 6-year-old the way we're going at it. Kiffin got penalized for what he did recruiting-wise a few years back. So I'm not surprised he did this, but it still surprises me as a whole, the whole system of the NCAA, that they do this together, that this whole entire system is this flawed. That befuddles me, but that's just me. I don't know, diehards like SEC junkies, the Big 12 junkies. You might say differently, but as a guy who's seen this system and who's tried to research it, I've seen things that I don't think have any integrity whatsoever. So, to me, that needs to be resolved quickly. That's one thing which I said that the NCAA needs to make a forum. That's the one thing that they need. And they need to address the situation. Recruiting, underage recruiting. When is the right age to recruit? I'm going to say probably 20 years from now we're going to have guys getting recruited before they even pick up a basketball as a little toddler. So that issue needs to be addressed. I'm wondering when it will be, and if it ever will be addressed. Well, we know one thing for sure: it was addressed here, and some other media places. But other than that, not nationally. That the NCAA should, in a press conference or a mediated type of forum. It's got to be resolved. We're going to take a quick break. We only have a few minutes left. We're going to talk about the TV deals and the NCAA and what I was talking about earlier and what I said that we were going to talk about. So please stay tuned for this last segment. Okay, we are back for the last segment of the show. And this issue was it was burning, a few years ago, I'd say in 2010, where the TV deals, ESPN was outside the lines. Those of you know that show, usually on Sundays, Sundays in the morning, like at 6 o'clock, or they usually put it on at that time or in the afternoon. It's not really, even though it's on the main network, the main channel, it's not usually promoted as much as it should. But the show's pretty good, except that it's not promoted as much as some of the other shows, like Skippy's show that we talked about. Talking about Skippy in the beginning of the show, but the way what was talked about a few years ago was renewing the contracts of these networks and these football, like these college football teams. Like NBC was trying to renew their contract with Notre Dame. ESPN was trying to get a contract with the SEC, and they did. To me, and they make what really surprises me is that they make an all SEC network. Like they get a whole SEC group of announcers and analysts, and like when you look, like ESPN has their own SEC and like SEC group where it's all SEC, favoritism, SEC. NBC, it's Notre Dame. It seems to be somewhat biased. It's not. That's what the whole point of sports announcing and sports broadcasting is, that it's not supposed to be biased. It's supposed to be fair ground, common sports talk now and common announcing. No, Gators touchdown and yelling and screaming. But then when the non-SEC team scores, it's not that big of a deal. Oh, this touchdown, or whenever they talk about the non-SEC team, it's not that big of a deal. It is a big of a deal. Every team is a big deal. I don't know why the NCAA forced the networks to like one team, or like a few teams here, or this one conference, or all these different things. I don't get it. Why are they forced to get a few partnerships with a few networks? I mean, it shows with ESPN's favoritism for the SEC when LSU and Alabama were in the national championship. SportsCenter was all LSU Alabama talk. I mean, Tom Rinaldi was carrying the mic all over the place, talking to Nick Saban like 1,000 times in Les Miles. It kind of got to a point where it was annoying. NBC's the same way. Notre Dame. If you don't like Notre Dame, then you don't like football. Well, I don't like Notre Dame. Well, you don't like football. I like another team. I like VCU, for example. Oh, well, that's really bad. You like VCU. Well, we have Notre Dame every single Saturday afternoon. I don't care. Stop having biasness. Let's get to true. Colleges need to find out where sport. Let's stop having contracts with, one network and one conference. Let's have a network where we broadcast all the games. We don't just focus on one team. We don't get a package of games of one team or one conference. That's not good. That's not It shows in the announcer's way of talking, in the announcer's way of play-by-play or analyzing the game. It shows it. I can see the biasness. You can tell. You can tell when the analyst says, "Oh, what a great play by Notre Dame," even though they lose the game, or, "Oh, well, they really tried hard, but they didn't do they really had a chance and all." Don't. Where's the fair common ground? Where's the true sports play-by-play when it comes to college sports? I don't see it. In the NBA, I see it. In the NFL, I see it, especially when it comes in regards to national media. But national media for college sports, it doesn't seem that. Well, for college football, at least, it doesn't seem that way. got to be resolved quickly.